You have something, Cassie?
Yeah, I just have a question. So
Just wait until right when we're ready to leave.
I know, I'm sorry. I finally got the kids down and it's like quiet over here. So you're saying that in order and to negotiate, we're going to ask the seller what's the lowest they can do on every one of these things, right? These four things. But what if they push back on that? What if they're like, I always get.
Well, why don't you try it with me? Why don't you try it with me, Cassie?
Okay.
Hey, Cassie. So look, I'm looking at this house. It's beautiful. I really love it. And I think it's one that I want to buy. I'm looking at the price. Honestly, Cassie, I don't need a bank or anything like that. I can just come in and buy it for cash. What is the lowest you can go on this thing?
Well, you tell me what you'd be willing to pay for it.
I have no idea what I'm willing to pay for it. I haven't even seen the house, Cassie. What's the least you can take?
I don't know. I don't really want to
You
give
don't know. You're selling the house. You don't know what you want for the house?
Yeah.
Because I can't buy it if you don't know what you want, Cassie.
Okay. So I want 400, at least 400.
At least 400?
Yeah.
Well, Cassie, remember, I'm going to come in with cash. Is that the absolute best you can do?
Is there realtor fees involved?
No, we won't. I have realtors on my team, but we're just going to buy it from you, preferably for cash if we can get a good enough deal on it. But right now, I'm not really liking the 400 idea too much. How much lower can you go?
Okay, maybe 380.
What's your next choice, Cassie?
I don't know. That's probably the lowest I can go.
So you're telling me if I don't give you every penny of 380, it's no deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just table that for now, Cassie.
Okay.
And we'll put it in at 380. But let me suggest this. Normally, when we buy houses that are beautiful like yours, and we pay cash, we normally get them for a pretty good discount. You probably don't have to do that with this house. I think you can get 380 all day long on this house. It's actually a very fair price, Cassie. The thing is, I can usually get them cheaper because I buy them from banks and from entities who, aren't as concerned. But I can give you 380 for this. The thing is, you won't get the money right away. You won't pay realtor commissions. You won't have to discount it any further than that. I'll close whenever you're ready. We'll take the house as is. If there's any cosmetics, you don't have to deal with that. No inspection concessions, no bank committees or anything like that. We're ready to close. And I can do that for the 380, almost for sure. I want to see the house, obviously. But the trade-off would be you just have to be a little bit patient in getting it. And what I mean by that is you have to take a monthly payment on that 380 until we pay you off in full. Is that something you could live with?
I think so.
Cool. So, Cassie, you have the house free and clear?
Yes.
Awesome. It makes it so much easier when there's not a loan on it. So we just need to establish what the other metrics are going to be. So let's talk about monthly payment. You're obviously paying the taxes and insurance on it, maybe an HOA, that kind of a thing. We don't want you to come out of pocket at all on that house. So normally what we do, because the goal is to get you paid off that 380, but the lower we can keep that monthly payment, the better. So usually what we do is we just cover off whatever your outgoing expenses are on this until we close. So how about if I pay your taxes, I pay your insurance, I pay your HOA, I pay whatever your full nut is on this thing monthly until we pay you off in full. Could you live with that?
Well, I'm trying to make a next purchase. I'm trying to buy a new house. So I would need a little bit of monthly income in that case.
Understood. So what would be the lowest you could take, Cassie?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen the house. You're the one trying to buy the house. I don't know if you're trying to buy,
what do you think it will rent for?
I don't know. You probably know better than me, but the lower you can make the deal, the price for me, the better. So it's really your call on it. You tell me what's the absolute least you can accept. I could close on this thing right away if you're reasonable. What's the lowest you can go?
Like 2,000 a month.
2,000?
It's Colorado. It's expensive.
What's your next choice, Cassie?
Maybe 1,800.
You're headed in the right direction, girl.
Okay.
Come on now.
Okay.
Go a little lower, can't you?
Okay. You're
How
very
much?
convincing. 1,500.
1,500. Are you telling me if I don't give you every penny of 1,500, it's no deal? That's as low as you can go?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So we got 380 on the price, 1,500 on the monthly. Now, you don't have a mortgage on it. Normally, most new mortgages are set as 30-year loans.
Mhm.
So what we do is we usually just set a structure that's basically the same template that a bank would use. So I'll be paying you 1,500 a month. It'll amortize just like a 30-year loan. But we'll intend on getting you the 380 much quicker than that because I don't want to do this, for 30 years. And we'll have an attorney close that so that you get a promissory note and mortgage. You good with that?
Yeah.
Sweet. And then the last thing is this, since we're giving you 380, we're going to do a lot of stuff for you also. I'm going to pay all your closing costs. Like I said, I'm going to pay my closing costs. We'll close whenever you're ready on this thing. You can let me know. But the first time you're actually going to get money from me on that 380 is going to be probably next month. If we close like in a week or so, then I'll make that first payment at the closing, which is the 1,500. So the first time you get money from me directly on this is the 1,500. And then we owe you the 380, which we pay off as soon as we can. Fair enough?
Okay.
Cool. So why don't you just repeat back to me what we said? Here's what I heard. You said you'd take 380 in price. You said you'd take 1,500 a month. We'd structure this as, a typical 30-year loan. And my payments begin to you right after we close with the monthly payment. Correct?
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So Cassie, are you the only one on the deed?
Yes.
You are. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
And are you ready to put together the paperwork on this if I send it over to you just as you described?
Yeah, that sounds good. But are you going to do any kind of down payment?
Didn't I just tell you that I was going to pay your closing costs? That's thousands of dollars for you on a $380,000 house. That's thousands of dollars for me. I'm going to also probably stage the house because I'm not going to live there. I'm going to be putting some people in there. That's going to cost me thousands of dollars. Not that you don't have excellent decorating taste, but let's face it, the kiddies are running around. There's some spaghetti sauce on the wall. I might have to do this and do that. So I'm going to be putting a lot of money into that. And then I'm also going to have to make you a couple payments before I've placed my owner occupant buyer that I'm getting qualified for a loan. So can you see where I do have quite a lot of skin in this game from the get-go?
Yes. Do you have 30 years then to pay me the 380?
The same thing when you go out and buy any house, you have 30 years, but nobody keeps the house for 30 years. Remember, I'm not going to live in the house. I make money by reselling the house to someone I'm getting financed. I want that to happen as quick as possible. So we're both aligned to get it done as quick as possible. But for purposes of simplicity, we usually use the typical template that's used for financing.
Okay. Well, I need some money to make this next purchase. So
You do?
what can you do for me?
You do?
Yes.
Well, I'm putting a hell of a lot of money into this thing on the front end. So if I have to give you some on top of that, it makes me a little, less interested. How close to zero can you get, Cassie?
How much can you give me?
As little as possible. I don't want to give you any. We normally buy with nothing down. You tell me, you're the one talking about you needed to move.
Okay.
How low can you go, girl?
100K.
Shit.
Okay. All right. I get it.
Now. Let's be real now.
Okay. 80K.
Yeah, I don't think well, you got to understand that's more than 20%. Somebody who has that kind of money down is just going to qualify for a loan immediately. I'm working with people that I'm getting qualified for the loan. So if you got to have that much, then I'm probably not your buyer, but I can tell you this much. I like you and I like your style and I'll get this thing sold for you in another way. But if you got to have that much down, then you might as well just go ahead and get a regular buyer, but you're going to be looking at a realtor commission in that case. So you tell me what you prefer. Less money, but you will get, all of the money right away, or a lot more money, but you got to be a little bit patient in the way that I'm talking about. What do you prefer?
Yeah, I guess I can wait.
Cool. So, all right. So we'll do it the way you originally said then.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, that's a good role play. The point of it is this. I never one time made you an offer. I just learned what you're willing to do. And when you told me that you would take 100 grand, okay, well, that deal is dead. I'm not going to fight you on it and say it's not worth it. If you would have told me I'm not taking anything less than 400, I'm not going to fight you on it. I'm simply taking you through a cascade, a negotiation cascade that doesn't involve me countering and learning what you're willing to do. And that's what you have to get good at doing with sellers. Just tell them straight up, I don't know. You're the one selling the house. I don't know. I haven't even seen it yet. Tell me what you're willing to do so I can learn if I'm interested or not.
Okay.
I can pay $1 million for it.
I guess I'm thinking about this from like realtor perspective, where
that's the
I've
problem.
had it before where I'm trying to get the price before I try to get the price from them before I bring them a price, because it's usually higher than what.
No, that's exactly what we just did.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we just did.
Okay.
Always the person who names the price first usually loses the negotiation. A good way to practice this is go to the flea market and, watch how good those flea market vendors are. They won't fall for any of this kind of stuff, right? Well, I shouldn't say fall for it, but they're really good at getting you to name a price first, because they know that's the way the game is played. You don't have to be as much of a smart ass as I'm being right here. Have fun with it, but I don't make anybody any offers. I just tell them straight up, look, these houses, they're like boxes to me. I've got a lot of people who want to live in this neighborhood. This is a beautiful box, so to speak. I can pay whatever you're willing to do on it, but we have to figure out if the terms make sense. So I need to learn what the best you can do is in order for me to do the due diligence on it and see if I'm even interested. I don't know. You've been living in the house, so I really don't know. I'm not calling you as a realtor. I'm calling you as a buyer. I want to buy it, but I haven't looked into this house yet. I just saw that you wanted to sell it. And if you want to sell it, I can help, but you got to know what terms you're willing to take. That's why I'm asking you the questions. Mm-hmm. So, let's not play realtor negotiation games here. Just tell me what you're willing to do. We don't need to go back and forth like this is, a realtor representing a buyer and a realtor representing a seller. We don't have to play that nonsense.
Okay. So if they want too big of a down payment, then it's probably not a deal.
Yeah, because you're not going to be able to get a lease option buyer who's going to give you 25% down most of the time.
What's like the average down payment?
So two ways of answering that. One is generally we'll be able to get 8 to 10% out of the market. Okay. So we want to come in lower than that, much lower than that, preferably. But if somebody did insist on 20% down, it doesn't mean I won't take the deal. It just means I won't close on it right away. So if you said 100 grand, Joel, I need 100 grand. I got to have 100 grand. There's no way I could take a penny less. All right, Cassie, well, we can do one or two things. Now we can just go into listing mode where I'll get this thing listed, or I can take your terms, right? 100 grand down. I'll owe you the 280, 1,500 a month until paid in full, but you'll get your 100 grand down. But I don't want to close on that immediately. I don't want to just give you 100 and then be at risk. So I'm going to go out to my market of buyers and I'm going to see how the market responds to this deal, because frankly, we should really sharpen the pencil. But if you can't, let me see what the market brings. I may end up with a cash buyer who's willing to pay 380 right away. But let me take these terms. If you'll do the 100 and the 1,500 a month until paid at a 380 price, let's go ahead and write that up and let me get to work. Cool. And then you get to work, you got 90 days to close. Did I address that? I don't even know if I said that in there. That's the most important part. I don't want to close right away. So today's November 2nd. So December, January, February. So we'll make a closing no later than February 2nd, because I need time to go out to my market and see what the market will bring, because I'm not living there. So if you can live with those terms and potentially waiting as long as February, then we've got a deal. If not, then let's talk about listing it. What do you prefer?
In those 3 months, you would be making the payments, or they would be making the payments?
Nope, I didn't close on it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want the payments made, Cassie, you got to drop that 100 grand. I know you got expensive taste. You got champagne taste, but I don't got a champagne budget for this, because I don't have to have a champagne budget for this.
So would that be an option contract, Joel, that you lock that up with, or would it still be a purchase and sale agreement?
Purchase and sale agreement with 90 days to close.
Okay.
Yep. Cassie's not gonna get any sleep tonight. Look at her thinking. I could see the wheels spinning behind your eyeballs.
No, I have a couple, like the last example that you did. It's kind of similar, but I think
Well, look, why don't you do this? Because actually the interchange that we had on text and this one now, I will bet you that people who have listened to this tonight and people who maybe listen to the recording will be like, I'm really glad she asked that because I got to see like a little bit of a role play. So why don't you do this? Because I know your head's going to be spinning. Think of whatever questions you have and text them to me. And then when we get on tomorrow, we'll go through those questions. That way we don't have to do it at 6:29 Pacific time. No, I'm just teasing. You guys can ask questions at any time, but I do prefer to get them ahead of time if possible. Although I know yours kind of came up as we were talking. But also, Cassie, you haven't gone through the scripts yet, as far as I could tell from the Kajabi portal. So you're going to want to, when you go through that, a lot of this will become much more clear.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, my pleasure. All right.